Greetings, esteemed listener, and welcome back to the Deep Dive.
It's great to be here.
We're the place where we, well, plunge headfirst into some pretty complex subjects.
So you don't have to spend weeks digging through it all yourself.
Exactly. You know, I was reading about the brain the other day. Turns out it runs on about 20 watts.
Oh, really? That's not much at all.
Less than a fridge light bulb. Makes you wonder why my own thoughts sometimes feel like they're draining the national grid.
Huh. Like running a supercomputer on a tiny battery.
Precisely. Anyway, I'm Hari.
And I'm Kimi.
And we're here to unpack the really fascinating sources you've provided on the concept of the mind.
Yeah, this collection is quite something. It covers, well, everything from what the mind is, its link to the body, how it evolved.
And how different fields even try to study it, neuroscience, philosophy, the works.
Right. So our mission today, basically, is to pull out the most intriguing bits, the key insights about the mind from all this material.
Giving you a shortcut to understanding this pretty complex topic without getting totally bogged down.
Hopefully making it clear and engaging.
Okay, so let's jump right in then. Based on these sources, how do we even start to define this thing? The mind.
Well, the materials offer a few angles. The most intuitive one is, it's the thing that thinks, feels, perceives, imagines, remembers, decides things.
All the subjective stuff we experience.
Exactly. But it's also crucial to remember it includes all the unconscious processes, too. Stuff happening beneath the surface.
Right, which is kind of mind-boggling when you think about it. Like, most of what's going on mentally isn't even in our conscious awareness.
It seems that way. A huge amount of processing happens automatically, influencing us in ways we often don't realize.
That leads nicely into that classic philosophical headache, doesn't it? The mind-body problem.
Ah, yes. For ages, the traditional view, I think Descartes, was that mind and physical matter were totally separate substances. Dualism.
But science, especially in the 20th century, moved away from that.
Yeah, the dominant view became physicalism, the idea that everything, including the mind, is fundamentally physical. Our mental states are, in essence, brain states or processes.
Which makes sense when you trace the evolution, right? The mind developing alongside nervous systems and brains.
Absolutely. The sources point out this incredible journey showing increasing mental complexity, matching more complex brain structures.
And there's that fun fact, even life forms billions of years ago showed some minimal kind of information processing.
It's amazing, isn't it? A precursor, however simple, to what our minds do now.
So what kind of phenomena does the mind cover? The sources list quite a few.
Oh, a whole range. Perception, how we make sense of sensory input. Memory, obviously. Thinking, imagination.
And memory isn't just one thing, is it?
No, not at all. You've got episodic memory for events, semantic for facts, procedural for skills, short-term working memory, long-term storage. It's complex.
And thinking involves things like logic, problem solving.
Right. And then there's motivation, emotion, attention, learning, and the big one, consciousness.
Okay, let's talk about consciousness. The sources mention a distinction, phenomenal versus access.
Yes. Phenomenal consciousness is that raw, subjective, qualitative experience. The what it's like, feeling the redness of red, the feeling of pain, sometimes called qualia.
That first-person direct feeling.
Exactly. Access consciousness is more about information being available for reasoning, reporting, guiding action. You're aware of it in the sense you can use the information.
So information you can act on, even if you're not having a vivid feeling about it right then.
Precisely. And then there's the whole psychoanalytic idea of the unconscious mind, with repressed thoughts and desires influencing us.
Which ties back to that idea of processes running behind the scenes.
It does. And another related idea from the sources is mental modules.
Ah, right. Not like general faculties of reason or memory, but specific built-in systems.
Kind of. The theory suggests some brain systems are innate, perform specific jobs automatically, unconsciously, like aspects of visual processing.
Is that where the Miller layer illusion fits in? The lines that look different lengths even when you know they're the same.
That's a classic example. Your visual module processes it automatically, creating the illusion. And conscious knowledge doesn't easily override it. It shows how encapsulated some processes might be.
Fascinating. So our perception isn't just a direct window onto reality.
Not always, no. It's constructed. Now, besides modules, the sources mention broader theories too, like behaviorism.
Which focused only on observable behavior, right? Not inner states.
Correct. And functionalism, which defines mental states by their job, their functional role, not what they're made of.
So a mind could theoretically run on silicon if it performed the same functions.
That's the idea behind functionalism, yes.
Yeah.
And then there's externalism, The notion that the mind isn't all in the head, that it depends on the environment too.
Like using a notebook or your phone extended cognition.
Exactly. Embedded and extended cognition fall under that umbrella.
Okay, let's loop back to the brain itself. Specific areas doing specific jobs.
Definitely. The sources highlight key players. The prefrontal cortex for executive functions planning, decision-making.
The boss of the brain, sort of.
You could say that. Then sensory cortex for processing input, the hippocampus, crucial for memory formation.
The limbic system for emotions, motor cortex for movement.
Right. And neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers, are vital too. And of course, there's the Phineas Gage case.
The poor guy with the railroad spike through his head showed how brain damage affects personality.
Massively. But what's maybe less known and mentioned in the sources is that he did experience some recovery and adaptation later on.
Oh, interesting. So the brain isn't totally fixed. There's some plasticity even after major injury.
It seems so, yes. Now, moving beyond humans, what about animals? Do they have minds?
That's a big debate highlighted in the sources, isn't it? Different views on where the line is, or if there even is a sharp line.
Yes, the discontinuity versus continuity debate.
Ads.
And it has ethical implications, of course.
And then artificial minds. AI.
Right. The Turing test was an early attempt to see if a machine could think convincingly like a human.
Leading to ideas like weak AI, good at specific tasks, versus strong AI, which would be like human general intelligence.
That's the distinction, yes. Still very much a developing field.
Finally, the sources touch on mental health and disorder.
Yes, emphasizing the biopsychosocial model that causes are usually a mix of biological, psychological, and social factors.
And treatments range from psychotherapy to medication.
Correct. And it's interesting how definitions change. The sources note, for example, that homosexuality was once classified as a mental disorder.
Shows how societal views influence these categories.
Definitely. And studying the mind involves so many fields working together or sometimes separately: psychology, neuroscience, cognitive science, philosophy.
Each with different tools and questions. The sources even mention phrenology.
Ah, yes. The old idea of reading personality from bumps on the skull. Pseudoscience, of course.
But it shows that early desire to link mental functions to specific brain areas, even if their methods were wrong.
Absolutely. It reflects that long-standing curiosity. And the sources also point out relevance to anthropology, how cultures view the mind differently, and even religion, like Buddhist or Hindu ideas about consciousness.
Wow. Okay, that really covers a huge amount of ground. It's clear the mind is, well, incredibly complex and still holds a lot of mysteries.
It certainly does. This has been a really stimulating exploration based on the material provided.
It really has. Thanks for navigating us through all that.
My pleasure. Always fascinating.
And for you, our listener, thanks for joining this deep dive. As you reflect on everything we've touched upon, maybe consider this, given all the complexity and the ongoing questions, what single aspect of the mind do you find most compelling or perhaps most puzzling? A question really grabs you.
Something to ponder.
Definitely. Until our next exploration into the world of knowledge, take care and be well.
Bye for now.